Okay, since there's probably public here that have not been at one of our board meetings before, I guess let's just go through your positions.
Amanda Bond, treasurer.
Erin Harman, trustee.
Joe Parker, supervisor.
Matt Miller, trustee.
Julie Daly, clerk.
John Harris, attorney for Iosco Township.
Mike Comier, attorney for Iosco.
Ann Allen, assessor and zoning administrator for Iosco.
Can't hear you out here. Okay, everyone.
You need us to introduce ourselves today? No. Okay.
I want to go that side.
This side?
Yeah.
Ann Allen is our zoning administrator and our assessor. Mike Comier is our attorney that deals with the solar stuff primarily, and John Harris is the township attorney.
All right. With that, we'll move on to approval of the agenda.
I will motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Supervisor comments. It's probably apparent that you picked up an agenda, but typically we have a call to the public in the beginning. Tonight, with the size of the crowd, we are moving the call to the public down to where it's going to mostly apply, and that is before action on the DTE applications. So we're going to go through and get our regular agenda items out of the way, and then go to call the public at that point. And that's all. And with that, we'll go to the adoption of the regular minutes from our November 13th meeting.
Move to adopt the proposed regular meeting minutes for November 13th, 2025.
Second.
Moved and supported. Any discussion, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Julie, clerk report.
We had 32 hours of dedicated service with Livingston County Sheriff's Department in the month of November, with 42 self-initiated calls for service, 6 dispatch calls for service, and 12 traffic stops, which resulted in 1 report, 1 crash report, and 9 citations being completed. Coverage was Monday, November 3rd, from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., with 9 traffic details, 2 building checks, 3 traffic stops, 5 subdivision patrols, and 3 citations. On Wednesday, November 12th, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., we had 2 subdivision patrols, 4 business checks, 1 property damage crash, 3 traffic stops, 1 incident report, 1 crash report, and 2 citations. On Thursday, November 20th, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., we had 13 subdivision patrols and 1 traffic stop. And then Wednesday, November 26th, from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., 3 motorist assists, 1 assist to the fire department, 1 assist to EMS, 2 building checks, 5 traffic stops, 5 subdivision patrols, and 4 citations. The other thing that I had is I have spoken with Trinity United Methodist Church regarding Precinct 2, and they do, unfortunately, project that they are going to be putting the building on the market in 2026. So I am in talks with Mason Road Bible Church. They have an answer for me before Christmas, they said. That's all I have.
Thank you.
When our taxes went out December 1st, as usual, my office will have Saturday hours, December 27th, from 9 to 11 a.m. People can also pay their property taxes at Bank of Ann Arbor, Fowlerville branch only. And the rest of our finances are as reported on this sheet. It's also available on the website.
Second.
Martin.
Second.
Moved and seconded to pay the bills. Any discussion?
I just have 2 points. There's our contribution to the Livingston Conservation District. The Robbersville Nature Center is on this, as well as our contribution to the Fowlerville Senior Center. Both were in the budget, were already in the budget and budgeted for, but just as a note that they were distributed this period.
All right. Any further discussion? If not, then call the roll.
Daily, aye. Miller.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Harman. Fonda.
Aye.
Motion carries. Amanda, fire board report.
Right. In our November meeting, we reviewed and accepted the 24-25 financial report, also known as the audit. We approved time and a half for firefighters for working holidays. The buck pull was another great success this year. There was 135 deer, 21 youth, and 114 adults. There's been 18 calls out in Iosco Township since our last meeting. 13 of those were medical. One was a carbon monoxide incident. One was a power line down. One was an accident. One was an assist invalid, and one was dispatched and canceled en route. My next meeting is January 27th. Thank you.
PC report?
There is no PC updates as the board decided to cancel their December meetings. There was nothing of any urgency to address, so we'll have more in January.
Thank you. Ann?
I have issued 45 permits for the year. Of those permits, 7 of them are for new dwellings. In addition to those 45 permits, I've issued 19 waivers.
And for new business, the 2026 poverty guidelines?
You will have in front of you, based on Bulletin 15 of 2025 from the State Tax Commission, the federal guidelines were approved. Historically, we have added an addition 150% to those levels just because we are in Livingston County. You have all those numbers written in next to the federal guidelines. This is no different than we've done any other year. If there's any questions, please let me know.
Any discussion on that?
I will make a motion that we approve the federal poverty guidelines used in the determination of poverty exemption at 150% of the current federal poverty guidelines for 2026.
Any discussion? You need to call the roll on that? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Then the amended?
Yes, so I'm asking the Township Board to amend our resolution that was originally done in 2024 in regards to the process for poverty exemptions. The State Tax Commission at their last meeting eliminated one of the forms that was required. It's being, that was a 5739. That's being added into the 5737. So the resolution has been altered to the current forms that the state would like us to use. The forms are not available from the state yet, unfortunately, so they are not on our website yet, but as soon as I get them, they will be.
Thank you, Ann. And with that, we're going to move into the oh, I'm sorry.
I move that we adopt the Iosco Township Resolution 2024-01 as amended, poverty guidelines and asset level test.
I will second. Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll.
Fonda.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Harman. Parker.
Aye.
Daily. Aye.
Motion carries. so each person has 3 minutes, and you need to be concise. Your communications really are directed to the board, not the community. So keep that in mind, be respectful. There are kids in here, so there's no need for vulgarity. We can hear you without the cussing. So choose your words politely. But state what you want to state. And this is not going to be a question and answer period. This is a call to the public. We are here to hear you. We are not here to get into a debate with you at this time. So, Jason, is it working? Yeah, believe it or not, okay, with that, we'll open up the floor to anybody who would like to come forward and speak.
My name is Ann Arbor, and I'm a resident of Iosco Township. My topics of concern are the two conditional rezoning applications which will be voted on tonight. My property directly adjoins one of the two 900-acre conditional rezoning sites requested by DTE. So this solar issue is very personal to me. Over the past 3 years, I have attended most monthly Iosco Township Planning Commission and Board of Trustee meetings. During that time, I have had the opportunity to observe how our board operates. And especially as it has worked through the complexities of the proposed roughly 1,800-acre solar project in our township. I would like to thank the board members individually. 2 members, Erin and Matt, are relatively new to the board. They have clearly put in their time and effort to understand the nuances of the proposal and the concerns of the residents. I thank you both. One board member, Amanda, has responsibly recused herself from voting on this issue due to potential conflicts of interest. I would like to thank you for taking this action. The remaining board members, Joe and Julie, have worked diligently to understand this project and to balance the needs and interests of the community as a whole. I would like to thank you for the efforts and seriousness each of you has brought to this difficult issue. I would also like to thank the Board of Trustees as a group for several specific actions that I believe have been in the best interests of Iosco Township. First, hiring legal counsel from Foster and Swift, especially Attorney Michael Homier, who's here tonight, to assist with the drafting of the solar ordinance that helps protect our township and maintain local control over solar development. It is rare in Michigan to find an attorney willing to litigate against utility companies, and Mr. Homier has proven record in sending local farmers in the thumb. I am grateful he is your counsel. Second, thank you to the trustees for joining a litigation group for more than 70 townships and municipalities challenging the interpretation of PA 233, a law which has put us in a solar mess. And third, thank you to the trustees who secured this venue. I would also like to thank 2 groups of Iosco residents. First, the smaller group of residents who consistently attends township meetings, voices concerns, and invests their time and finances so the rest of us can stay informed. And second, and most importantly, the larger group of residents who are here. I would like to thank you as well for coming. I have one request. I ask that everyone remain civil and professional. Please do not shout out of turn, and please refrain from swearing in this public forum. I understand emotions run high on this subject, and I know I have my own moments of frustration
Hello, Steve Smith, Conway. I was here at the meeting in October, and all through it I thought, this Iosco board is sure a tough group to get a smile out of. The whole community turned out to try, and not one of the speakers could get you guys to smile. So I'm hoping something. To me, the Ferndale area, the west area, makes no sense at all, as it is not adjacent to your overlay district, and I suspect it is only on the table because DTE easily got the leases from a corporate entity whose owners don't live here. I am also puzzled why Buurma's vegetable farm with its deep, rich soils was never selected. I have some doubts that the MPSC would even allow a project here, as a soil fertility dam is required as part of an application. And to me, a vegetable farm in Michigan is so much more critical than a cornfield used to produce ethanol. Solar panels with their posts and trenching will damage the drainage tile there, creating a real mess. These projects will harm property values. My neighbors, Dave and Linda Brown, have related how they could have sold their property 10 times over the first week. But when the buyers learned that the field opposite them was leased for solar, they all walked away. Several months later, it has still not been sold. These projects only benefit a very few while harming the rest of us. I'm sure the board members have been turning this over in their minds, weighing the pros and cons. The community is overwhelmingly against this, which has to be your most important consideration. My thought is to only permit DTE to use the existing district first and see how that goes for the community before allowing any expansion. Frankly, although there are many good people that work for DTE, as a corporation, I don't trust it. And what they are trying to pull now in Saline is proof of that. Folks, to close, I ask you to visualize a green oasis in a barren desert. Likewise, this farm area that we are blessed to live in, our home, is a beautiful oasis between Lansing, Detroit, and Flint. And I never wanted to live anywhere else. Let's not screw it up with thousands of acres of panels, data centers, and power plants. There are 26,000 vacant acres in the city of Detroit they can use first. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to question. You've worked hard over the past couple of years. This keeps going on and on and on. We hear from most of the residents, this is not one. The last time I spoke, and I sound like a broken record, talked about the mouse wanting a cookie. A book that the mouse didn't want a cookie, the napkin, the milk, and everything else. And by the end of that meeting, the mouse asked you for a cookie. Another one. They've been asking and asking and asking, and now they're becoming bigger and bigger, more of a bully, and turning into a rat. I built my house out here 35 years ago. I just retired. I believe I retired in heaven. I'm going to spend the rest of my time here. This is not what the community needs. This is an agricultural, rural community. Keep it that way. We're not asking you to pay for roads. We're not asking you to do this. Just stop the insanity of the solar, all the mega solar. You want to put solar on your own house, well, it'll help you out there. A lot of things haven't been considered, but I'm sure that's further down the road, and you have a lot of intelligent people up there that can make that decision and make the legal calls. It's a crime and shame that the township has to spend money for legal fees in order to prevent something that should have never been allowed to be approached in the first place. As far as I go, I'll support the board. If you deny DTE and this continues on, I am one of, I don't know how many people will support it. I was under the impression that the majority of the people make the decision. Well, the majority is bringing to the board the decision we want to make. And the decision we want to make is to stop this project. It has no benefit to our community. Thank you.
Well, 1 years down the road, a couple of people there might know who I am, my wife, and my daughter who is inside of me. I've been in this area for 56 years. I moved out here for a specific reason. I like the country, and I like the way my yard feels. I got 10.5 acres. But I'm right across the street from that proposed area. I want to know what you guys are going to do to reconcile my property goes down because of this monstrosity these people are trying to push on us. We have more than enough in the city to put something up in Detroit. And if they want to go with solar, let them go with solar. I don't believe it works that well. And it just doesn't fit. Wind doesn't work as well. Okay, coal is dirty, but can be cleaned. And nuclear is as safe as it's going to get. And that's all I got to say.
Good evening, board members. After what happened today at Lansing, I'd like to reintroduce you to your employer, we the people. Remember who you work for and start listening to these folks. Do your job, which is to represent the voice of the people. My name is Anthony Hudson, and I am the only candidate for governor that is coming to these meetings to fight solar farms and data centers. I'm here tonight because I'm absolutely livid about this headland solar project that's threatening to destroy everything we love about the rural way of life that we have here in Livingston County. This monstrous 220 megawatt industry solar farm, pushed out by out-of-state corporate greed from Ranger Power in Chicago, wants to swallow up almost 1,500 acres of our prime farmland right here just north of Fowlerville. That's not green energy. That's a blatant assault on our farm, our families, our property values, and our community soul. We've fought this for years. Yes, go ahead. We've fought this for years, from protests at open houses to packed meetings like we have here tonight, and now even after conditional approvals that have sold us out, we cannot let this invasion happen. First, this is farmland genocide. We're talking about paving over thousands of acres of productive soil that feed Michigan families for generations. For what? Ugly black panels imported from polluting factories overseas, loaded with toxic chemicals and slave labor minerals? These things will turn our beautiful rolling fields into a glaring, sterile, industrial wasteland. Wildlife decimated, birds shredded by reflections, habitats ruined, and the glare blinding drivers on our roads. In Michigan, where clouds rule half of the year, these panels won't produce reliable power. It's a scam dressed up as sustainable. Economically, pure robbery. They bribe us with promises of tax revenue and a handful of temporary jobs. But the real payoff goes to distant investors and executives. Our property values will tank. Studies show drops of 20 to 30% near these eyesores. Who foots the bill for the decommissioning of the toxic panels in 25 years? We do. And the noise from the inverters, the flooding risk from poor drainage, the fire hazards, it's all on us while they walk away rich. Board members, tonight, I want you to listen to your neighbors and that protect us. Listen to their voices, fight for them. Do the job that they've elected you to do, because if you don't, the people will remember. History has receipts, and these people will replace you if they need to. So do what's right.
My name is Jason. Call me Jason, we the people. I live on 1776 Boulevard. Anyhow, these data centers are put here to destroy us, and what I've witnessed being a constitutionalist that started during COVID is an egregious violation of the Fifth Amendment's takings clause. Also, threats and coercion. those things can never be done, and that's what I've experienced. Non-disclosure agreements, whoever it was who maybe signed one and don't vote on the stuff, recuse herself, bravo, first one I've heard. Everybody else stays on and tries to push the agenda through. It's almost like you can see traveling around the state, you know, who's got the money and who hasn't got the money. You know what I mean? And I don't know how much money it takes to sell your souls. I don't know how much it takes to, you know, make sure your grandkids are poisoned and their kids are poisoned and hunting and fishing ceases to exist in about a year and a half. Because that's really what all this pollutants is going to do. Next, this is a violation. Like that man who came up here and spoke earlier and said his house is right next to it. Are you going to tell me that that's not a violation of the First and 14th Amendment, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, Declaration of Independence? I mean, hello. It's obvious. Next, I want to bring your attention to Article 6, Clause 2 of the United States Constitution. What I've heard in a couple of these board meetings is Lansing passed some BS bill that takes the power from the board and gives it to the state. Article 6, Clause 2 is the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution. It states, any law made repugnant to my United States Constitution. Repugnancy defined in Black's Law Dictionary, anything that is in contrast with, takes away from, minimizes, or is in conflict with. Period. So any law, statute, anything made repugnant renders itself notwithstanding in law. Notwithstanding means dead on conception. No obligation to enforce, no obligation to obey. Which brings me into case law. Marbury v. Madison, that backs the supremacy. Shuttlesworth v. Birmingham, Alabama, backs what to do if the state continues their arbitrarious and erroneous rulings, and that is to exercise my right freely with impunity and ignore their BS statute, rule, code, whatever it is. I'm going to be nice because I don't know you guys' stance yet, but whenever I'm told in advance, you know, there's kids here and this and that, a lot of times I give a 20-second warning. Get them out, because I'm going to start letting it rip. But you guys might be on the right side of history, so I did that twice. I'd rather be nice about it, you know what I mean? So, do the right thing, stand with the people, exercise our Constitution. It is the supreme law of the land. Case law is not law. The Constitution's law, the Bill of Rights. Have a good one.
farmland and rural living. Inventory. In the year 2023, 3 unelected Michigan Public Service Commission bureaucrats made local control of our property rights null and void, in my opinion. I was trying to think of a word to express how you should vote. I can't force you to vote with the majority, but in the words of an entertaining TV ad, I implore you, I beseech you to have the courage to vote the will of the people who you serve. And then those of you who are in this leadership position for the right reason will sleep better at night, knowing you did what was right and let the chips fall where they may. Have you or have you spent time and together researching this solar issue and how it applies to our township master plan and to the future of our township? Are you in communication with other townships? This is no Mickey Mouse issue. My husband and I are opposed to solar and wind industrialized development because they are not worth the claimed productivity. They are phony baloney, they're woke, and they're Green New Deal, and will burden our quality of life. Sprawling construction sites, constant noise, destruction of farmland, topsoil preservation, disposal of batteries, stormwater problems, pollution,
time back, please.
Okay, is this better? I'm gonna start up with. Oh, that's what it says. Sorry. My name is Olivia Verfaillie. My husband and I are longtime residents of Iosco Township. This is my words are rather emotional. I'm tired of energy developers taking away our property rights for their own financial and power gain. This is the slippery slope to socialism for control against the majority will of the people. I quote, "Township is marked as an energy corridor. It rarely returns to farmland and rural living." End of quote. In the year 2023, 3 unelected Michigan Public Service Commission bureaucrats made local control of our property rights null and void. I was trying to think of a word to express how we should vote. I can't force you to vote with a majority, but in the words of an entertaining TV ad, I implore you, I beseech you to have the courage to vote the will of the people who you serve. And then those of you who are in this leadership position for the right reason will sleep better at night, knowing you did what was right, and let the chips fall where they may. Have you, the board, done your homework? Have you spent time individually and together researching this solar issue and how it applies to our township's master plan and to the future of our township? Are you in communication with other townships? This is no Mickey Mouse issue. My husband and I are opposed to solar and wind industrialized developments because they are not worth the claimed productivity. Phony baloney, woke, Green New Deal, that's what they are. And they will burden our quality of life. Sprawling construction sites, constant noise, destruction of farmland, topsoil preservation, disposal of batteries, stormwater problems, pollution, loss of pollinators who are essential providers for human food, our tax dollars to subsidize these energy companies, decreased home and land values, negative dangerous effects on wildlife and human life, all at risk to the almighty dollar and deception. Indeed, the love of money is the root of all evil. You, the board, is responsible to protect Iosco Township residents. And happy holidays to all of us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chuck Smith. I'm over by the data center, just across the Wassel Road. I'm kind of close. Been fighting for the past 3 months on data centers. What I've got to say here will be very close to what my fight is with the data centers. What this meeting is really about is the future of Iosco, Howell Township, and all of Livingston County. It's about whether or not we want every piece of farmland, pasture, wetland, open green space, and forest to be bought out and then covered by solar panels, asphalt, concrete, steel buildings. It's about whether or not we want them to destroy our homes, our land, suck up and pollute millions of gallons of our water, change our environment forever, and permanently eliminate the vast amounts of abundant wildlife that currently roams on the ground in this area and in the air surrounding my home. I live 2,500 feet from the proposed data center, and the people here, you don't want this, folks. You do not. It will destroy us. It will destroy the rural area. It will destroy everything that you and all of these folks have held so dear for so long. I've been here. I'm 69 years old. I've been here since I was 4. I had lived in Fowlerville. I had lived in Howell. I had lived in Hudson. I had lived in Brighton. And you know where I came? I came out here to the rural areas. This is God's country out here. We can never take that for granted. You can never take that for granted. These people are trying to tell you, and me included, because my family's farm was out in Gregory. I grew up every summer working on a farm. I know wherever I speak. I've got a degree in natural resources because I love it so much. I'm currently an environmental manager with Spiral Industries in Arbor because I know wherever I speak, this is terrible. This is going to destroy stuff, okay? There's no going back. Once the data center and the solar panel floodgates have been open, they'll use this one approval as their excuse to build them on farmland and or open spaces anywhere in the county. That data center is the biggest one in the state, folks, and from what I've been seeing, your solar, it's also one of the biggest ones in the state. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be solar panels, and I'm not saying there shouldn't be data centers, but there's a time and a place for all of it. Right here, right now, is not it. Wait a minute, one more thing. Newsflash, 635,000 people are without power right now.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Hill, and first of all, I want to thank you for being here with me. I appreciate that. So I just have a little food for thought. I feel like Michigan is being bombarded with data centers, and I feel like it's all of a sudden, maybe it wasn't paying attention last year, but this year, all around us, data centers, and they're massive in scale also. They use a lot of water and a lot of electricity. I feel like Michigan's being targeted because we have a lot of water here. And it's not a coincidence that we're being bombarded with these massive solar projects. And it was, I believe it was planned that way because we need the electricity for these data centers. And why do they need all these data centers and why Michigan? So I don't really feel like we should be a party to helping that system that they're trying to put into Michigan, and they're using us. And you have to stop and think, why do we need these massive scale data centers? And why Michigan? You know, are we supposed to house all the data for the world or even for the United States in Michigan? And what do they need it for? It's AI technology and data to store more information that the government needs on you. I don't want it here. And we don't need to do it here in Exeter Township. That's my opinion. I don't think we should be part of it. I don't think we should be being paid for it. I don't think we should be reaping the consequences of it here in our township. In the very beginning, everybody kept saying, we need to do our share. We need to do our share for the electricity that we generate. This is way beyond that, way beyond that at this point.
One last thing, where I live, I pay my taxes to follow those schools and all that kind of stuff, even though I'm in Iosco Township. So, I love you guys.
Good evening. My name is Steve Greenlaw. I live in Iosco Township, and I'm within the 300-foot buffer zone. And I know I've talked to the board before. One thing that we need with this, when you're considering the DTE proposal, is to looking at it from a comprehensive standpoint. You know, how many people in the township are living on houses that were once farmlands? The fact that the farmlands could sell to housing developments or go to other, you know, whether I'm against the solar or not, doesn't negate the fact that the land is owned by private landowners who could just as easily sell it for housing developments. With our master plan showing a population projection of 9,000 around the year 2040, wonders, well, where are those houses going to be coming from? Ideal world is that the every farmer has family that will take over for them and continue to farm, and but the reality is that that's not always the case. And so I just wanted to, kind of make sure that that is on the plate as well when considering that, considering proposals. And I know I've said this before, but when working with DTE, I believe that we should also, that the township, I would encourage you to have a cultural resource management conversation with DTE or whoever is going to may possibly develop the farmland, because there are sites that we know are culturally significant, where there were old farmsteads and whatever, and would propose asking DTE to conduct a phase 1 archaeological survey of sites that we know where there was a farmstead, and the preservation of our township culture that's inside the dirt. And it doesn't have to be expensive. There are colleges that will bring students out for studies to dig in the dirt, and that will help with that. But before I end, I just wanted to echo what Ann said as well, the thank yous and all that. That was phenomenal, and she said pretty much the same, I think. So, thank you.
Hello, my name is Debbie Hofstadt from Iosco Township. Thank you everyone for coming out here tonight. I know it's the holiday season. I know the weather isn't necessarily the best, it's not snowing. Certainly happy to see other people from other townships and areas around Livingston County out here. Good. First time I see you at an Iosco Township meeting. Welcome. I'm not going to stand up here and put all this on the board or the planning commission. You were certainly put in this predicament for the last 3 years. This is 100% on DTE and the powers that are currently in authority in the state of Michigan. And also anyone who may have served as an unknowing and inadvertent pawn in this, whatever this strategy that's bigger than us. DTE's clandestine meetings and discussions have resulted in a community divided and a loss of trust. Perhaps that's part of the playbook. Wear them down, get them fighting. DTE's MO is to put the landowners and the township officials on the firing lines while they hide in their foxholes. If DTE truly wanted to be part of the community, as they say they want to be, why not be absolutely transparent about how all of this is connected together? How long have these plans been in works? What types of partners do they have in this? What's the end goal? In the end, this truly is not about community. It's entirely about money. The only time I found DTE to be actually transparent about their actions was when one of their leaders answered a question posed to them from a planning commission member. That commission member asked why I asked for township. The DTE leader responded, and I'm pretty sure the quote is spot on, if not apologies, but the sentiment is the same, because it's cheap. A community can survive change, but not exploitation disguised as progress. How do you vote tonight? Strategy matters and the consequences extend beyond the moment. One decision can set a precedent that reshapes a community forever. Before the vote tonight, it's beneficial to establish some line of trust. That is something that has to be rebuilt in this community. Public trust depends on clear disclosure before a vote is cast. It's important to know that disclosure is not an accusation, it's a safeguard for all. I've been asking about an ethics policy for this township for several months now. I understand it's still being considered. I do ask that this board, before it votes, verbally attest to any types of agreements that they may have, be it them, their family members, spouses, parents, in-laws, cousins, brothers, sisters, children. If there are any types of NDAs, non-disclosures, and/or good faith agreements, good neighbor agreements.
be on the right side of it. This is very simple. These construction companies, they're crooks. They're not playing fair, and I can tell you that with 100% certainty. More than you guys sitting up there know. So please, listen to your residents and listen to your heart. Don't do this. Don't end up on the naughty list. It's Christmas.
Good evening. My name is Timecodes. I live in Iosco Township, just right down the road. I'm here to support my neighbors in Iosco Township. We might be two townships apart, but we're the same community, with ultimately the same concerns. As a side note, I'm very familiar with that stage. Our daughter went to school here, a great school with great opportunities. On that stage were many proud moments of awards, band, theater, choir, the list goes on and on. She graduated from the school, went on to college, and graduated from college, and got a nice job. Her mother and I thank this community for helping make that happen. This is a creative, hard-working community that will not benefit from the invasion of data centers and massive solar farms eating up the land and poisoning our natural resources. And that is the big thing, poisoning natural resources. You see, over in our neighborhood, the data center is the front and center problem. But we know this is all connected, and this is all the same fight. The fight to save the land and save every town from this unneeded, unwanted, artificial intelligence invasion of our brains and our communities. This isn't good. Let's vote this problem away and stick together as a community so every child, every person can live in this beautiful place that our daughter grew up in. And some of you have children who grew up here also, I know that. So they can live in this beautiful place that we call home. I've got some time left. Community, and I'm not supposed to address, but let's all help each other. Let's stick together on all these problems that are going across township lines. It's a big, big deal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Todd. Thank you all for coming out tonight. My name is Thomas Reagy. If you didn't know, I started Self-Reliant Energy Company in 2013. That was driven by the Michigan Public Service Commission. I was awarded a grant to install a 10,000-watt wind turbine on our farm too by the Department of Agriculture that got kicked down from Michigan Public Service Commission who did not do their inspection of the property. Therefore, Tom Stanton told me that I was not donating their farms to the Michigan Public Service Commission. That story I repeatedly tell. The solar farms are not doing any benefit to any of the residents, not one single benefit. It's only profiting the utility companies. If we're going to develop solar, it must be developed at the point of use. This is my 23rd year of installing solar, and what we have found is that solar is now equivalent to the cost of coal. Saturn investors are investing in solar equipment as opposed to coal. Things that we need to look at are recyclables, recycling the panels. We don't need solar farms. We don't need to gobble up other people's land. The distribution loss that is responsible for a solar farm, the energy is lost before it ever reaches its destination. So solar farms are not going to be the answer. I, in my heart, know that you want to put the solar farms up to power the gosh darn data centers, as somebody else alluded to. That's what we need. We don't need those. We have enough room on our land, on our farms, to power our own farm. The reason that we can't, there's no incentive available to Michigan residents or farms. 38 other states have an opportunity and incentive. Who's going to subsidize the solar farms? Ratepayers. All of us are going to receive a renewable energy surcharge tax on our utility bills as a result of these solar farms that we're not receiving any power from. I will tell you, any one of you in this building, if you want to see how I power my building without the use of DTE, please contact me. This is done. Meaning solar, biomass, rainwater collection, waste heat recovery, all are possible ways to eliminate the utility companies. In the last 5 years, ladies and gentlemen, my customers are all totally off-grid. They don't want to deal with the likes of the MPSC, Michigan Public Service News, or the utility companies. They're going live without you. You guys have the only source of power to us. How many people are already out of power as a result of that? Create an emergency backup power plan. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Keep going. Say no to the solar farms.
Hello, I'm Todd Hill. I'm an Iosco Township resident. I'm going to make this short and sweet. I thank you greatly for listening to the people and getting the bigger venue, because those people could not be heard at the last meeting. I applaud you for that. But I also ask you, hear the people today and do them what they want. You're hired in by us to do what we need you to do. Protect Iosco Township, please. And also, you guys are the forefront of this battle in Livingston County. Ours is the first vote. If this goes the wrong way, it's going to be hell for the rest of them. Thank you.
Alright, once again, I'll keep it short. So between this meeting and the one in October, I think it's pretty clear the way that the Walton people in the township feel and want the vote. But the one thing that I did, once again, thank you for being up there, and sorry you're all in this position. But the one thing that I do want to add is, if the decision from you guys is a no, that with that no, it continues to be a no with any potential lawsuits that will inevitably come. When you look at Celine and look at some of the other things that have gone around, when they don't get their answer that they want, they just threaten you in court, they threaten you at the MPSC, they threaten, and that's their MO, and so it's going to be no different here. Give them what they want or they threaten. So if you do go with the will of the people and do a no, it needs to be a no today, tomorrow, next week, forever. Thanks.
The solar farm is basically going to be in my backyard, and I just want to say that I appreciate all of you. I can not imagine your position, and DTE, like the lady said, is doing this because it's easy for us. So it would not be easy in Detroit for them to steamroll over the team tax of the township. And this is probably not what any of you had in mind when you decided you wanted to be on this board. I appreciate it. And I'm sorry that this is what you guys have had to deal with. But, well, it's easy to say that you need to follow what people say, and we realize, no, you know that seems easy. You guys may not have it as easy out there, because you guys are the ones that are getting bullied by a giant organization that has more funding, more resources, more people, more everything than you guys possibly could. But something that I would like to remind you is that all of these people who showed up to tell you we don't want it, it takes a certain type to live out where we live. You don't do it if you don't have a member work to. We do. And if y'all vote no, we'll stay behind you. We will back that, and we will fight it, and we will continue to fight it. And we will continue to fight and be behind you if you say no every single step of the way when they keep coming back and they keep threatening and they keep asking. I have spent my entire adult life, the last 20 years in the U.S. Navy. We just retired this summer and moved home because this is home. This is where we decided we wanted to raise our son. My oldest son is in the Navy now too, but our 8 is
myself. I'm a lifelong Michigander, love the state I was born in, came out of Detroit when my parents moved in '68. I graduated from Heartland High School. Both our daughters graduated from high school at Heartland. My husband also met him in high school. We lived in the other part of Livingston County for 23 years before we built our dream house out here 28 years ago in Iosco Township. Love the township, love our neighbors, look forward to going up into town for our eats. Just finished having dinner at Buurma Farms. I'd like to see our county stay the same, where this is my community, these are my people, you're my people, and I'd like to see all of us keep our county, our state free from pollution. We have the largest freshwater reservoir for the country. I'd like to see none of that poisoned in the future. I'd like to be able to see my children and grandchildren enjoy our home in the coming years. I plan on living here, we're retired, and I plan on being here until God sees otherwise. Otherwise, I have nothing but hope that our country, our state, our immediate family unit here can continue to appreciate the land, the animals, the fish, the water that we're fighting for, the scenery we have, and the life that has been good to all of us. And I'd like to see that continue for the future, for the other children coming in, and that no one has to give up their property for something like this to be living next to that. Because even though I won't be right on top of it, my neighbor would be. You're my neighbors, and I don't want this on anybody's future. So I would appreciate it if you could really consider saying no to DTE and keep our state free from data centers and solar farms, because Michigan has every abundance of wildlife and wonder and pureness that we can hope for. And God bless everyone.
Hi, my name is Debbie, and I'm actually from Howell Township. So we have been inundated in Livingston County, whether it's the massive data center that they want to propose on Grand River, to this huge solar farm. And I think that for me, driving down Grand River or driving down Iosco in this beautiful rural area that we live on, imagine like a transformer. They are taking away the beauty of our state. I don't know why Livingston County is really being targeted at the moment, but somebody said, because it's cheap. Don't take the beauty away of our community. I've also lived in Livingston County, probably before many more than one. But I would really hope and pray that you guys think hard about what this will do to our community if you decide to go ahead and put these massive, dangerous facilities in our area. Thank you.
Hello. First of all, I just want to thank you for your services and recognize you must be under a lot of pressure with the situation. I'm going to speak from the heart rather than the data. I'm going with a short walk to where this solar farm is proposed. When you drive along and go around these for myself, it's beautiful. Rolling hills, it's already moved out here recently, and I don't want that being filled with blue solar panels and just the ambiance of it gone. I'm in contact with a fellow resident of an adjacent county, and I heard his struggles with this solar proposal from his side, and I kind of thought, never can borrow it. told me basically, sorry, we pushed you away, and he was told that our area was considered a sacrificial zone. I'm worried about Livingston County getting chopped into pieces, seeking temporary gains at the expense of citizens. I see just on my street 3-4 houses going for sale, and I don't blame them because we want this other house. Speaking of the heart, I showed this to my young children, and intuitively they know this isn't right. They love nature, and they started to water up and said no to that. No one's brings a tear to my eye. I feel that I'm appreciative of the choir here, but if, at least we came here and we tried to exercise our rights, and this may be my little attempt to at least sleep well at night, knowing that I try to fight for the children and, our ability to have a life that's filled with nature and wilderness and not noise and pollution. Thank you.
Hey, I'm going to keep this quick, but I just want to offer a different perspective than what I've seen yet. I'm 17 and still have a lot of my life ahead of me. I love to spend a day in Livingston County. Also, this doesn't just affect people here, it affects the next generation and the one after that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kristen Smith. I've lived in Iosco Township since I was 3 years old. And I just thought I'd come up here to tell you guys, this isn't the first time we've had something like this. When I was in elementary school, we had waste management coming in and wanted to build a massive dump. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And it was no dump. And it got stopped because of the aquifer. Waste management was very scary back then. They threatened us. They said horrible things were going to happen. They said they were going to sell that land to somebody that was going to do a huge trailer park and all of these things. But the community held strong. That land is still farmland. Stay strong. I think people come in here and they think we're a little hold-up town. Maybe people don't know a whole lot and they can roll us over. But we're here to support you. We're here to stand strong and keep our community what it is. So, don't be bullied. Thank you.
I've never been in so many of these kind of meetings and stuff in my life. I've been in when they expanded the airport. The thing I get from these boards, if you guys had the authority, true authority to stop this, do it. Just stop this thing, stop the net. All the boards will stop taking the can from the other board and just kick it back and forth. You guys have to make decisions. But that's why you're here, that's why we voted, people vote you here. Make a decision, get it done, get rid of these people that makes you coming in and destroying the flag. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Diana Dombrowski. I'm so comfortable in this building because I spent 25 years teaching here. And I live about a half a mile from the data center that is being proposed. And I've gone to all of those meetings, and I am here to show you support. And what I am seeing is a groundswell of individual people in all of the townships kind of coming forward. And I've seen some people here from Howell and Cahata, and I'm from Handy. We are here. We are going to stand together with you anywhere they want to put these gigantic data centers, these monstrosities. And as a retired teacher who retired and lives in my home now for 30 years and would like to stay there, but I believe it will be impossible to sell. But at any rate, I think of these children. Our kids come from Gregory, they come from Conway, from Unadilla, from Iosco, and I can't help but think of all the pollution and things that are coming from the data centers and the solar farms. So my mind is always with the children. And I think as adults, we have an opportunity right now when there is such a groundswell to say no. And if Iosco says no, then Conway says no, then Howard Township, who I would do anything for to help them stop that monstrosity, if they say no, and we all stick together, and Livingston County, because we are all one county, we are all neighbors. And then if we think a little bit bigger, as we see these data centers and solar farms popping up all over our state, the county and county sticks together. And eventually, the only way to stop this is our legislators, or just to make the data centers and the solar farm people go away, before it just implodes anyway, and leaves us with the bag. So I implore you to say no. I know the position you're in as board members. I know there's an incredible amount of brain power sitting on that board, so I know you've considered things from all angles that maybe the rest of us don't know about. But I just want to tell you, Handy's here to support you, Howard Township is here to support you, lots of communities are here to support you, because we are all one. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Andy Puckett. I did not plan on speaking here tonight at all, but the Holy Spirit within me, He prompted me to come. I have 3 minutes, and I'm going to pray. Father, we come in Jesus' name, God, today. And Lord, first and foremost, I pray with this bench up here of these 8 people I believe I counted, God, that you would, as that girl said a few back, that they will stand strong. Because God, what it's coming down to, they hear us. They hear us, but Lord, it's up to them. God, they're the ones that's going to have to fight. They're the ones, Lord, that's going to have to hold the wolves back. And God, I pray in the name of Jesus, God, that you'll give them the backbone and the sense, just the good old sense, God. I don't care how smart we can be, but God, let us go back to a child. Let us go back, Lord, as the Bible says, to think on these things. Think on the things that are beautiful, things that are lovely, things that have virtue. These kind of things, God, that I hear people that come from the city, they want to come into a simpler life, and this is where they come, Father. This is where they come in this kind of setting. God, cover this place, God, cover these people, and Lord, let your will in the name of Jesus, God, be done. Father, we will never cease to give you the praise and the honor. God, we've made many mistakes and many mistakes, but God, let us not make a mistake in this. God, let us not make a mistake. And Lord, there's so much going on in this whole world. God, let us keep a piece of something, a piece of peace, God. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
My name is Iosco Township. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight either, but we've been fighting this fight as long as you guys have. And we replaced some board members, some planning commission members. We hired an outstanding attorney, which you guys have too. And once the domino falls, it has an effect on everybody in the community. So we already have a sole road district. That should be enough. You guys don't need to rezone any more property. make it easy for them. Okay? I think you should stick up for the community, which you've been voted in to do, and make the right decision tonight. Because otherwise, everything we've been doing, it's not just Iosco Township, okay? It's all the other townships too, just like the previous lady said. So, let's nip this in the bud and not let it go any further. If you keep it in a solar overlay district, you reduce their income, their profitability, they will probably go away. Okay? Keep it stuck. That way you can sleep with a good conscience and nobody will be voting you out next time. Thank you.
I do want to remind everybody, as citizens of this community, that we have an obligation as well. I know a few people have referenced that you work for us, but as employers, it is our responsibility and obligation to make sure we're participating and active in our community and participating in the things that are coming before you and having our voice heard all the way along the process, not just at the crucial votes. So I encourage everybody, because this isn't going away, DTE clearly has their hands in all sorts of stuff coming into our community here, in our county, in our state, and as that woman mentioned earlier, that DTE seems to have come in the community and like kind of causing a divide and among the people, and it does seem like a little bit of a CIA type manipulation going on to hit each other against, and it's really unfair. I think this community really cares for each other, and I think you guys all have the best interest of this township, and I hope that you continue to protect us and keep us out and do the right thing for us. So thank you very much. Thank you for holding it here in the Albertson Center rather than outside the township hall. You guys are the best.
Well, my name is Jim Ratke. I've been out here for 45 years. I don't understand. If you guys have the power to say no, and all these people are here to ask you to say no, what's the problem? I can stay up here and say all the good and bad of all these things, but if the people are saying no, then let's say no. Say no.
My name is Jeff Salazar, been an Iosco County resident since 2019. My sentiments reflect most of the community. We don't want this project here. This will disrupt the lives of so many people who had no idea something like this was coming. The 4 children my wife and I have had since we moved here do not deserve their futures to be upended because of corporate greed. These people that are pushing these projects think that the board is some soft boy loyal and foolish people. I don't believe that. Please don't prove it right. Vote no.
The Grand Use Scam. Solar panels are virtually useless in Michigan with the natural cloud cover we have. And then, the Grand Use Scam is geoengineering, polluting our skies, and making these panels more useless. These panels will barely pay for themselves by the end of their life cycles, let alone actually save money in energy production. This is really just shuffling money into the pockets of politicians, DTE executives, and panel manufacturers in China. The land can't be returned to farming after being polluted, and these panels, just like property values, won't come back up after these fields are left standing abandoned by their creators. There are much better places to put these, like the tops of new construction industrial buildings with the battery banks in them and the cost of maintenance bared by the companies and not the residents surrounding them. The infrastructure needs the dollars put into it, not squandered on projects that can't pay for themselves by the time they are extinct.
County, and I've probably been to as many of your board meetings as I've been to my own. And I'm infinitely familiar with the situation in Iosco County. And just today, somebody told me in Venice Township, where more than half of the solar panels are installed up there, that somebody came to the huge landfill out there, which just coincidentally happens to be across the street from Township Hall, and wanted to dump thousands of solar panels. And the gentleman that runs the landfill said, we don't allow that here. And he said, well, they take them everywhere else. So in 10 or 15 years, it's our kids and our grandkids that are going to have to deal with this problem. It's PFAS, it's all kinds of things. But that's just what happened today. I've been thinking about this, the parallels between this proposal from DTE and other industrial solar projects. Chesapeake Township immediately comes to mind. DTE is also the applicant there, and many of the same techniques were employed to try to push it through, regardless of the will of the people. The Planning Commission had the fortitude to vote the proposal down, and the Township Board supported their decision. It should be noted that DTE's proposal there consisted of one overlay with a total area of less than 800 acres. To my knowledge, DTE has offered to make no major concessions in their proposals here, and actually double down on it by creating two overlays. Recent developments concerning the Saline Data Center proposal and DTE's attempts to keep their agreement with the developer secret should tell us everything we need to know about this corporation. Anyone here who believes that this corporation has the best interests of this community in mind hasn't seen the almost completely redacted copies of the contract they are trying to enter into with the aforementioned data center developer. Last week, proposals were approved in both Iosco and Flint Township for solar facilities of less than 30 acres. The proposal in Flint Township will actually be installed on a capped landfill. Consumers Energy has also announced the construction of a facility in Latin Township near Jackson of about the same size, less than 30 acres. The landscape is changing. People are not going to put up with 1,000-acre solar projects any longer in these townships. Going forward, there is no reason that individual townships should be declared sacrifice zones to build out massive industrial solar facilities. No community should be made to bear the responsibility of housing 18 or 19 acres in solar overlays while others shoulder none. The time has come for DTE to put into practice what they so fondly like to say, because working with us versus working us are completely different phrases. Thank you.
What's the benefit of the township? We know what the benefit is to DTE.
Good evening. I'm Steve Council from Iosco Township. Appreciate everything coming out and voicing our opinion on this. The question I get asked is, why is DTE up in rural areas like this? The DTE execs live, and I'm sure they wouldn't want one of these solar farms next to their houses. So why would we have next to ours? If DTE is so hell-bent on putting it out here, why aren't they here talking with us? And instead of telling us the pretty flowery things that we would like to hear, the way that they want us to experience these solar panels, instead of the reality of how ugly they are and how disruptive they are. It doesn't benefit this township to have anything like that. And I just hope you guys know. Thank you.
who are completely against it and completely for it that I know and care about. And what I do want to say is, in the end, we really don't have control. And like to the people out here, please don't be so hard on these guys, because either way, whatever they choose, they're going to get hated for by one side or another. If it's yes, the people who say no are going to hate them. If it's no, the people who say yes are going to hate them either way. So we need to give them some grace, because they have a really hard decision to make. And one thing that I do love is I'm not completely for it and I'm not completely against it, because they have the benefits for both sides. Because I have farmland on my house, I have horses, and I have cows and chickens, and yes, I don't want the area to be looted. But there also is the downside for people who can't keep the property without DTE. It would just be completely houses. So there is a big decision to make on the line, and really all I have to say is whatever happens, I guess it's God's plan, so we just have to trust it. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
With that, I guess we're going to go ahead and close the call to the public, and we're going to move on to our unfinished business, which is the DTE application. And the board all have copies of resolutions drafted by our attorney with regards to the applications on both sites. And assuming everyone's had a chance to read them. And is there any discussion that we have? I would like to ask DTE, we've been here, if they're present, if they've got anything they would like to say before we, I guess, have any more deliberation and or make our decision. 3 minutes. He's not part of the public, he is addressing the board because of his request.
Good evening. I'm Michael Ribbett. I am the Director of Development at DTE, responsible for developing new generation assets for the electric utility. I want to start by thanking the board. Parties out. You've done a phenomenal job DTE has also been hearing parties out there who have been working hard to do the same. That is why you've seen a couple of familiar faces in the room over the last 3 years, attending DC meetings, holding open houses, and have developed an additional overlay zoning proposal with input from members of the board and the public. The result of all that effort is the rezoning request that is before you tonight that includes solar panel exclusion areas, and that avoids surrounding non-participants and provides setbacks in some areas that greatly exceed what is required by rezoning. The project we're proposing consists of only 720 acres of fenced-in land that includes the modules and the substation. While some members of the public are opposed to the project, the Planning Commission, after spending a lot of time studying the request, recommended both of the requests be approved. We ask that you approve both requests so that the project can be permitted both. Both are necessary for the project to move forward. One without the other will not allow you to build the project. Thank you for your time.
Yes, we are looking at one at a time. And I believe the numbering order lists the west side as number 1. Am I correct?
They're just done by the south and the west.
Right.
So the resolutions are going to be 2025-7.
I believe the west side was application number 1, but the resolutions are done by the south and the west. So we will go by what the resolutions say, I believe, and they will be labeled as the south district and the west district.
Yes. But my point is which one are we? The first application is the west.
Correct.
So that is the one we will take action on first.
Sure. Yep.
All right. John?
I just want everybody to understand that Mr. Homier did draft resolutions both in favor of and against and presented at the Township Board so that they can decide whatever they're going to do. But there was a reference to a resolution, but there's one on each side, and I just want the record to be clear on that.
Was that made to the public?
There's 2 for each side. There's a approval and a denial for each that we were given by Attorney Mike Homier. We were given 4 resolutions, to be clear.
Shouldn't we have those on the table so we could read them?
No, this is the board, according to the attorney.
Why not?
The
It affects us as well as you.
The decision, let me know when you're done talking.
I'm done.
Okay. The decision is the board's, and the resolutions were drafted in accord with what we perceive to be the law, both for and against. And so it's their decision, and they will make their decision, and they will put it on the record, either for or against, so that there's a record that's complete. This isn't a discussion item among the population. This is a decision actually that has to be made by the board now.
I understand that. Why should we read what you're doing? Why is that? It's like a secret. Move on.
All right. I appreciate your input, but this is not an open discussion.
I just asked a question and I got a political answer.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-7, a resolution denying rezoning request from DTE Electric for the West District.
I will second that motion.
Moved and seconded to deny the resolution on the west side rezoning application. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll.
Miller. Aye. Daly, aye. Parker.
Aye.
Harman. Bondville.
Abstain.
which is, south/east, whatever you want to. It's identified as the south side, that's the Buurma Farms overlay district.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2025-8 for the South District denying the rezoning request from DTE.
I will second that motion.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? None? Call the roll.
Harman. Daly, aye. Miller. Parker.
Aye.
Bonville.
I think I will speak for all of us that none of these decisions were lighthearted or quick to jump to. These were long and very intensive conversations and just way of thinking. So, I mean, it wasn't a lighthearted decision on anyone here, I don't believe. So, that's all.
Thank you for listening to us.
I hope everybody can maintain this level of enthusiasm and fight at the state level, because that's really where this is, you're going to have to take this. Because if you don't want it, this is one step, this is a little step. I mean, the state is putting it down.
The only comments I have is I guess I would like to thank everybody for being respectful and keeping your communications concise to the point, and I appreciate that. You can do things without being rude. So, I'm sorry. I skipped you. Comments? I don't believe you. Yes. All right. We will move on then to the second call to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak?
I just had a quick question. I don't even know what the ability for you to answer this is, but we're going to mobilize further steps going towards the state. Where do we start? Who's organized? Anybody organizing here? Do you have any pages you can refer to? I know it's, I don't know if we're open to. Yes, okay. So, thank you.
Thank you guys for standing up and speaking your piece tonight. You cannot give up the fight. You have to stay out the way. And I promise each and every one of you up here, you just built an army tonight to catch your back. And as the next governor of the state of Michigan, it's on my website, I will eliminate the wind and solar initiative in Lansing.
To the board, thank you. I know this is not easy. You don't deserve all the missiles that were thrown at you, all these positions that you're in. To the community, we will bond together on this. This is not just our township, it's others. We are starting a bigger consortium throughout Livingston County of banding together for these types of items so that we can share intel and actions. So go to ioscoresidents.com, reach out to us, and watch us for additional information. And we have your back. This isn't done, it's very clear, but we have the power's back on this. Thank you.
Real quick, real fast, I just want to say, don't leave. We
watched Mason, Michigan, what was that, Monday or something? We watched Tuesday. We watched Mason, Michigan say, yeah, we voted down, rah, 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 and as soon as the people left, they bring it right back up and passed it. So pay attention, facts.
When we adjourn, this meeting's over, it has to be on another agenda.
People left when they got their answer, and then they called for a reconsideration. Everybody left, there was like 12 people in the room, and then they re-voted and they passed it after everybody left.
We turned around and came back and seen everybody leaving, and it slept crowds.
Interesting, and yeah, I don't know how we can do that. It's past that item on the agenda, so, yeah. We would have to modify the agenda. Anybody else?
Merry Christmas and thank you.
All right. With that, motion to adjourn. Yeah.
You guys rock!
All in favor?